Hey guys, welcome back to the Hit Up podcast. Today we're joined with Shannon and Chris. How are we, guys?
I'm Sam anyway, so it's off to a bad start, but
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
they're all good.
My bad. I'm reading off the Zoom call names. Sorry, I've had a real a shambles of the last 2 weeks. Haven't been here, so a bit rusty to getting back onto the podcast, and it's not going well, eh, Josh?
Yeah. It's no excuses though, as Sam said on the pod before we started the podcast. No excuses.
Oh, at least one of you know what my name is. That's a good start then.
Sorry, Sam.
Redemption. No, it's all good.
Yeah. Sweet. So what we do to start off our interviews normally is we do like a set of 6. Normally our other host Connor does it, but it's really just 6 quick fire questions just for the viewers to get to know you guys more. So which one of you would like to go first?
We'll let the oldest go first. Where you go, Chrissy?
Yeah, I'll go. Sweet as.
Easy. So favorite NRL team?
The Sydney Roosters.
Bring back the Biff, yes or no?
Bring back the Biff.
Who's your favorite NRL player of all time?
To be honest, it would probably be Sonny Bill Williams.
Who is your early 2022 NRL Premieres Prediction?
I'd have to go. It would be Sydney Roosters.
Homer pick. Favorite clothing brand?
Nike.
And then favorite fast food?
Pizza.
So we're going to do the same for Sam. Favorite NRL
Sweet
team?
as. Up the Warriors. I'm a Kiwi that supports my actual team, you know.
Yeah.
Come on.
Liam and Connor, they're similar. They don't do that. Yeah.
Each to their own, eh?
Yeah.
Obviously, they weren't brought up properly, but that's okay. Normally, we don't shit in our own backyards, but hey, you know, each to their own.
Yeah. Bring back the Biff, yes or no?
Oh, hell yes, definitely.
Favorite NRL player of all time?
Ooh, probably maybe someone like Andrew Johns.
Who would be your 22 NRL Premier's prediction?
Don't say the Warriors.
Nah, I'd love to. But hey, if I don't say the Warriors, then maybe, you know, that's a good omen. So I'm not going to go with them. I'll probably go, I reckon Penrith will go close to going back to back, eh?
Favorite clothing brand?
I'm going to drop my own because it's not far away from launching, but I'm going to have to go with Better Than Before, baby.
Sweet. Might have to cop.
Yeah, nice.
Favorite fast food as well?
Fast food. Yeah, I'd probably roll pizza as well, to be honest.
Yeah, agreed.
This is not a bad shout. Good go-to. No one can complain.
Nah, not at all. I just like food in general anyway.
Fair enough. Now, since we all love the sport of rugby league, I thought we'd take a bit of a trip down memory lane, and I'd like to go over it. What are your first memories of the sport?
Oh, you go for it, Chris, bro.
Yeah, so pretty much I didn't really have a choice. I was born into the game, but being my old man being a passionate player and coach. So my biggest memory, like sort of into the game when I was young, would have been I was a ball boy for the Papanui Tigers, and it was in the '98 grand final. So that game was the Papanui Tigers were underdogs, and they came out in the second half roaring and just got momentum, and just the physicality and the bodies on the line, and just some of those hits. And one of my cousins was playing in the team, marking Aaron Whitaker, ex-Warrior, and that. So and sort of covered him that game and sort of outplayed him. So that's why the Papanui got the victory. So yeah, that really got me good when I was young and wanted to be amongst finals footy. So yeah.
Oh, definitely. What about you, Sam?
For me, it was just growing up supporting the Warriors. Like, to be honest, I played a lot of time playing union, to be fair. But I'm a man, like, I just love sport in general. I just love competition and stuff. And I guess just growing up in New Zealand, it was I can just remember like the crowd, just going back as well, like in that first game against the Bronx and stuff like that, just packed stadium, like running out to, the first New Zealand team coming onto the park and all that sort of thing. And it's really cool to like reflect on that, going back and things. So yeah, I guess it would just be yeah, for me, the earlier times watching it on TV and such, and then having a crack a bit later on in life.
100%. So I was pretty similar to you, Sam. I did bit of union, bit of league. What was your favorite between the two, playing it?
Playing it, well, I don't know. Like, to be honest, I reckon I'd probably prefer league. I don't know, because like you can easily just, I don't know, feel as though you can sit back a little bit in rugby. You know, there's an extra couple of men on the field, and like you can kind of get probably exposed a little bit more if you're not doing your job in league and things, I feel. And then yeah, you can have a bit of a crack yourself if you want to. If you're at the back, or if you're running out a hooker, or wherever it is, everyone can have a crack. And with less people on the field, yeah, you've got to really probably do your job, and just the physicality of it and things like that. Yeah, it is tough. Like playing halfback in union and playing hooker in league, like I can hide behind a forward pack, and when it comes to union, and then it's a totally different kettle of fish when you're playing league.
Yeah. What about you, Chris? Did you play any union growing up, or just a league man?
No, I had a crack at union as well. So I mainly in league I normally play hooker, loose forward, or in the halves. But when I went to union, I went to second five, centre, fullback. So
the next Jonah Lumley, I heard.
Yeah. mainly the reason I was playing those positions in union was I just liked running with the ball. So I felt I preferred league over union because of the fact that I felt and you ran with the ball more meters and instead of the shorter stuff. And I don't know, I just preferred the structure of league compared to union. I believe, like, I look at it and union players are really skillful, especially their backs. But yeah, I just prefer the game of league over a day. I watch both, but I do overall. I'd watch a game of league over a game of union if it was on tally. So at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. Now, it might spark a bit of debate, but when I'm watching union, I feel like there could be like 50 tackles before anything happens. You have so many phases and nothing's happening. But in league, you have 6 tackles to do something with the ball, and it's I think it's just much better, but might be just my opinion. But yeah, so Sam, earlier you mentioned your clothing line, the Better Than Before.
Yeah.
And how did that like brand sort of come around, and what was the purpose of creating that sort of brand?
So for me, like I've always wanted my own brand. Like I just not long, sort of towards the back end of last year, I just set a goal to go like 12 months sober. So we had our last sort of piss up at the end, finishing up the year. I was working at Under Armour at the time. Me and one of the older fellas there were kicked on. The two of us till, I don't know, it wasn't actually that late, but it was about 1 a.m. And just the next day I woke up and was like, all right, my son's coming now. He's due in January. I want to sort of like set a standard and, and figure out a little bit more. And, I just felt a lot of the time I was waking up and, you test yourself, and like deep down, I'd say to myself, I'm not going to drink this weekend. And, push comes to shove, the arm gets twisted and the boys are on and hissing. But, so I just thought, I need to test myself. I know that I'm better than this. There's some things that I want to change in my life, and now's the perfect time. So, I've feel like I've been on a journey my whole life, like most people probably do. And I just felt that if I don't commit to what my version of the dream is, then I'm never going to fully, feel as though I utilize life to its full potential. So it was like 3 months into the journey that, I was sober, like I was training hard, I was losing a lot of weight, and, things were going really well. And so I was just like, I want to change it up a bit and, really test myself. And then my mate just messaged me and was like, I'm starting to like print t-shirts and stuff like that. And then it was like, fuck, I can start my own brand, like I just have to commit to it and just see what happens. So I didn't have any social media. So I started posting things on social media, started doing like random acts of kindness, and just, I'm still learning about social media and things like that. But like some of those videos of, it's not huge in comparison to some people, but have had like 350,000 people that have seen it. And, and that sort of thing. I chucked a footy jersey behind a young fella and said, "Oh, you dropped something," and like he kind of turned around and his parents and that were all blown away and all that sort of stuff. And I just wanted to bring more exposure to like the whole tall poppy syndrome and like people cutting me down. And like even through my journey, speaking with Chris when we caught up, he's in Christchurch, I'm up in Auckland now. We caught up, we went out, we had a good time, and he's hearing things that people are like saying things about me behind my back about. I've been training really hard, but they think that I'm doing, heavy drugs and shit like that. So it's like, whatever you do, you can't please everyone. And it's like, you got to do what's best for you. And just, fuck, it comes back to footy or anything, I'm a competitive man. I love to win. And, if I don't test myself to see what I'm truly capable of, then, I'm not really seeing what it's all about. So about, what are we now, sort of 8 or 9 months into the journey, and things have been evolving. Like, as you can see, I've created this wee space behind me, and I'm sponsored to do that now. I've started doing coaching around mindset. I won a scholarship around NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, and I've had my son this year. I'm nearly at 12 months sober. I've got all the apparel samples there, so that's coming, and so it's just evolving. And even the content, like I look back at the start of it, and I'm just like, I look like I'm on crack because like I just speaking in front of a camera, it's so tough, and I can chew the ear off anyone, and I like the sound of my own voice. So that's why I like podcasting. That's great, and it just chucks you outside the comfort zone. So yeah, that's a little bit about my journey, and it's I'd say this is the proudest year of my whole life, and it's just going to compound from here. I'm excited, and like I want to bring in as many people as I possibly can to help them to be their version of happiness. Like for me, I gave up alcohol because I wasn't happy with what I was doing, and my old man likes to drink every day, and I want to set a standard for my son and for him, and and other people to say, if you, doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, if you want to make positive changes in your life, you can fucking do it, So that's kind of where I'm at with everything now, and yeah, everything's getting stronger. The momentum continues to build, and it's just like laying that foundation brick by brick by brick, and it's been one hell of a journey so far. And, even just getting to do this, like I love footy, this is what I want to talk about. Eventually I want to inject something, whether it's better than before sports or something like that to, talk about this sort of thing. So as soon as you guys reached out, it's like, yeah, I'm on. And then I had to hit up my right-hand man because he knows league.
Yeah. Going to Chris, we understand he's a pretty big coach in Christchurch. I was just wondering, Chris, how you got into coaching, because a lot of people have different stories getting into coaching. So I was wondering how you got into it originally.
Well, obviously, I first had my first little sting at coaching. It was actually when I had done an ACL, so I couldn't play for the year. So I'd done it right in the middle of summer. So I had 9 months of rehab ahead of me. So I was living back at my parents' then, close to Aranui. So I went and actually coached the under-8s Aranui team. Had nothing to do with the club, nothing at all. Just thought I'll just go help out there. So I done that year. Sam came along to a few games and watched, and that, and these young 8-year-olds evolved into a champion team, and I really got the rewards from that. Seeing them develop through there. So it sort of planted a little seed in me. But I knew coaching wasn't at that time. I wasn't going to carry on just then and there. I still knew I had a bit of a career playing. So that's what sort of started it all. And then, it wasn't until quite a few years later I got an opportunity after I captained a team to coach the reserve grade team. So and I ended up, after a year of coaching, I ended up going back, putting the boots back on again. So it's not till the last couple of years that I've actually hung the boots up, and I've been helping develop players and training them at the Northern Bulldogs. So they were a club that was almost folded from the earthquakes, and they were coming last place, barely struck fielding a team. And in the 5 years, we turned them around to making a grand final, losing it, which was a bit of a heartbreak. But we also won a Premier B premiership as well. So now the club's a top four club. So it was a really good achievement. So just a few work commitments at the moment held me back from this year, been involved, but it's something I want to be head coach team in Christchurch sometime in the next couple of years. So I won't be gone from the game, but I'll be floating around. It's just my commitment this year because when I'm in 100. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Just following up on that, you were talking about how you were switching between coaching and playing. Over the last few years, I play a lot of soccer and a lot of what we call football, but I know that's a rugby league term now. But so we, I found like the mindset between playing, coaching, and I did a bit of refereeing was completely different. Is that the same in rugby league, and how did you handle it?
Yeah, well, as I got older through my career, I
he's still got a
understood the
lot to
game.
say, whether he's on the sideline or he's on the field. I can tell you that for free. The passion is there.
Yeah, well, to be honest, as I got on like playing, I got smarter, understood the game better, knew, and then so I became a sort of just going from a captain to a coach. Once you've already earned the respect from your players, and then going to coach them, it made it an easy transition. So I didn't really notice too much transition from going from a player coach role and then going back playing. Because when I went back playing, I was sort of in the senior group that had a bit to say to the coach. So it was. Yeah, I didn't find too much of a change, but it was a progressive thing that I learned in my career. So yeah, I don't think I'm still being young now, got a long future ahead of me in the coaching side of things. But once I got to that leadership role, it didn't change too much for me.
Yeah, I think that's similar with a lot of different sports. Going back to you, Sam, what has been the proudest moment of your sort of journey with Better Than Before? Because I've seen a lot of the TikToks of the random acts of kindness. Are those the favorite things, or what's like your favorite part about it?
That I can look myself in the mirror and say that I'm fucking on and hissing at the moment. Like I'm just loving life overall. It's just a hell of a journey. Like every day I'm testing myself. Every day I'm moving forward, whether I'm, listening to a podcast or whatever it is. Like I'm just consistently in that growth mindset every single day now. And, it's pretty cool to get like some of the messages that I get, like people tell me I'm saving their life. Like that to me is just, you can't describe it. But at the same time too, like as I touched on earlier, there's people there that still don't believe in you. There's people there that do believe in you. But as long as I can look myself in the eye and just saying, I am giving it my best, and there's still things that I want to change, but just overall, it's just that I've committed to something. I'm about to tick a big box for me that was, has been a struggle in my life. Like, a lot of us, as young fellas, we love to drink piss, and especially in New Zealand, like, in all reality, like, I would say I was an alcoholic because I don't really drink because I enjoy it. I drink to get smashed, like at the end of the day. So,
like Josh.
it's hard. Yeah. Yeah, there's a few of us out there, I tell you. We know how to send it. But and again, it's like I say, it's not like I'm not trying to tell anyone that they need to change. Like it's not about that. Like if you're in control and you're happy with your decisions, but it's like if you're battling up top and you're, mentally it's something that you do want to change, like all I just suggest is to do something about it. There's people out there, like I can still go out now and enjoy myself, and like, I would still happily go out till 3, 4 in the morning and enjoy myself. And like that to me, I just never thought would be possible doing it sober. But now I know, I can still do that. And then the next day, even on 3 or 4 hours sleep, like I'm still keen to go train, or, I can read a book, or, I'm all there, and things just don't get thrown out the window as such. So, it's just been like just this huge learning, and it's been compounding over. Like, I've been testing myself each year. Like I could have sat back and been happy. Like I had an awesome job. I own a couple of houses. I was working for a great brand, but at the same time, like, it's still not enough. Like I want to continue to test myself. And the reason why I created this is because I love sports so much. I love, that competitiveness. I love just the culture, the environment. And that's the most important part, is like just trying to bring in as many possible people that want to be better, or, and like I'm trying to cut out any negative bullshit and have an environment that's just safe for anybody to be a part of, which to me is like, the more of that right now, the better. And whether someone believes in me or they believe in someone else, like it doesn't matter. It's just about the more of these environments that are created. And especially right now, like I couldn't have thought about a better timing. Like I started this, and then we're back down the whole COVID journey. So yeah, it's hard to say one thing, but at the end of the day, it's probably just that I'm the most proudest I've ever been of myself in my life, and there's still things that I want to change and I want to learn more about, and I'll continue to grow. So yeah, it's just been one special year overall, really.
Yeah, that's like so amazing to hear. Just following up, you touched on COVID there. Well, did that kind of inspire you to like get your brand out there more and try and help people, because lockdown was a really stressful time for everyone? So did that kind of put some motivation to do more work and get it out there, or?
To be honest, like I was already doing it. Like that didn't that was just another layer. And like to be honest, I don't because I'm trying to spend my time wisely. Like I used to watch the news all the time because I'd be watching the sport or whatever. But now I consume through content and things like that, and it's more about like it wasn't that, but that's just another whole element to realize. Okay, you can do something. And I actually was working for somebody at the time, and I lost my job through COVID, and I wasn't happy there anyway. And it was like I was losing my job, and then all of a sudden, someone threw a hashtag, followed me, and now he's the sponsor. So shout out to Kings and Neon if anyone needs a sick neon. If you boys need a rugby league neon, or you need a I don't know, but yeah, if you need a sweet neon anyway. But and that's the thing. Like as soon as you start putting more positivity out there, like the worlds just start to align, and wonderful people come into your life. Like, and again, like I've now just met a couple of extra, awesome lads that, I'm always going to be there for. And some people, like, I'd rather be surrounding myself and putting myself in this environment, because if people don't believe in me, that's great. Well, I don't want to be a part of that, and I'll still be respectful. Like, if you don't believe in me, I use that as fuel, and I'm still grateful either way. So it's a win-win. But overall, back to your question, was COVID like, it wasn't not really an element. What didn't really affect me or what I was doing, but now it just makes me realize, and especially like going through it all and being able to get up, train when I want to, have a coffee when I want to, create content when I want to, all that sort of thing. I really understand what, like no one can kind of take it away from me, or because I'm doing everything online, it doesn't matter what's going on in the world because everything's done like this, So, it hasn't affected me. And the last thing I want to do is I'm not going to start buying into my mindset about, everything that's going on out there. Like I've got another job to do. Like, yep, it's there. I can't do anything about it. So carry on, that's how I see it anyway.
Yeah. COVID was the thing that actually started this podcast, and I'm so grateful we did it. Like we were just bored one day, and I was like, "Should we start one?" And we've met some great people. Like one that stands out a few weeks ago was a guy called Leighton Spellman, who's in Victoria, and he's just every day doing gym work or coaching an under-6 team and Victoria Rugby League team. And his whole thing was using sport as a pathway out, like out of a poor system, out of something, and that was his big thing. And I was just wondering, Chris, for you, have you seen like an instance of that, or do you believe that sport is a pathway out of trouble?
Oh, 100%. Growing up, I had some kids that I played with there in my team that came from hard families. I had one person my parents used to pick them up for every single training and taking the training with us and the games and that. And that person, went on to represent the Kiwis, the Roosters, went on to, do big things, and his whole life changed from that, So I think sport there's an opportunity. Some kids really thrive from it. They get away from their surroundings at home. Sometimes it's not so happy at home and they get to have a run and loose, let off some steam and whatnot. So, and then create some good friends, So, I believe anything that can get you outside, getting your exercise, your fit, get that mind right. Because you never know. Everyone goes through issues, but some you can see it and some you can't. So I think that sport is really a good thing for everyone from a young age all the way through.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely helped me through a lot of my younger high school years. I love getting out with my friends and just playing sport and the games we love. It's great. Now, we know that rugby league is huge over in Australia, but it's not so big as it is over here. How do you think we can grow the great game of rugby league here in New Zealand? We'll start with you, Sam.
I just think like it's like I don't know what it is, but like a lot of our young guys like just seem to get snapped up elsewhere, all that sort of thing. I don't know what's going on with like the recruitment or like we should have eyes on kids at a very young age because like regardless or wherever they're at, they seem to just get snapped up and they're elsewhere or whatever, and it's good because I guess they can still play for the Kiwis. But if they end up over in Aussie too early, then they like Origin's a huge fucking something to dangle in front of other people. Like, I mean, there's something I don't know what it is, but obviously the game's just overlooked. Like even you look at it back in Christchurch where, I watched it, played it, a little bit and stuff. And it's kind of like frowned upon. It's like looked at because of the demographic of the people that are playing it and all that sort of thing. There's not as much money as there is in union and all that sort of thing. And like from an early age, like, Chris could probably speak about it too. Like, you go into high school and stuff like that and you've kind of like pushed towards that first 15 and all that sort of thing. There's no real structure from that age to really develop the game as such and things at the same time, where I can guarantee in Aussie it's probably completely different. They've got younger grades, all that sort of thing. And also like you get someone like, Will Warburton, obviously, who was playing for Sevens, then all of a sudden, like, you got the Storm that are like looking at him and now he's got a contract over there and stuff like that. So I can pretty much guarantee you if the Warriors came and approached him that he'd probably just would have stayed at Sevens, like there's just not that lure to be playing for your country or, I mean, there's heaps of
I don't
Aussies
know if it's country. I think it's just the Warriors. They're pretty crap
in
team, to be
general,
honest.
I'm not going to lie. I'm going to say it, but I am excited for this year. I am
Oh,
excited.
God.
Just like I am every year. But I don't know. I feel as though Johnson's got a huge point to prove. Like whether or not like he is getting on a bit, but like coming home, all that sort of thing, the way that he left, like I just don't know what's going to happen, but they've definitely got potential anyway.
I feel sorry for you too.
No. Forward pack, Lodge and AFB. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, that's it. We just tried to bring the Biff back with Kane Evans, and they told him to get out of here. So
yeah.
At least we were winning the war, And it was funny, like seeing him. It's probably not the best for the kids, but when he's writing, fold that CUNT on his arm like that.
Going back to that question though, like how the game, how we could develop it and that. I believe that the biggest thing that we've let go is the national competition that used to run in New Zealand. I think it finished in 2006, the Bartercard Cup. That was a real good platform. A lot of Kiwis and a lot of Warriors players came out of that competition. So going back to, I don't think maybe it needs to be the senior comp. I think they need to do the same competition but under 20s, and then also they need to have a similar competition following it for 18s and 16s to try and promote that and get that lure from rugby union, or so that national competition I think needs to be an all year round thing instead of these little 6 or 7 games at the end of a season. It needs to be a national competition, and that's how we're going to keep our juniors and keep everything here, so then they can push for the under 20s national team, and then that's where the Warriors really will be looking at. So that'll come down to funding, money, so money's the biggest thing. So that's, they need, sponsors, but, like Bartercard Cup used to sponsor the Bartercard Cup. So they need to get some big names on board and do some research, and, and those under 20s games can be on TV, So I just think that they need a good network of people together and try and look at something like that, so that's my view on it.
Yeah. So we have one more question. This comes from Connor. So he's off. So he messaged me, can you ask this one question at the end of the show? So we have from Connor, do you guys have any tips for anyone aspiring to play rugby league at the top level? We'll start with Sam.
I guess this is only my opinion. Like, you know, Chris has got all the experience in the world, so he'll have a great answer. But I guess like it comes down to being like, from my point of view, whatever you want to do. It was probably always a dream of mine, but I probably didn't put the effort in. You know, there was other things like, you grow up, there's women, there's alcohol, there's all sorts of things, and you know, if whatever you do, you want to try and be a true professional as soon as you possibly can. Like, you know, doing weights at an early age, making sure you're eating right, talking to the right people, trying to network yourself into the right environment, surrounding yourself with the right people and things like that. But yeah, it's tough at an early age, but the sooner that you can live your life as a true professional, and also the biggest thing for me would be the sooner you can pick up learning about the mindset. Like, you can be a great player, but if you don't have the right mindset and the right attitude, you ain't going to go anywhere, you know, and that's what I feel sets you apart. It's like I never used to meditate or anything like that. And if you look at anyone, or whether it's meditation or some form of, you know, mental training, like LeBron James and stuff like that, you know, the amount of money that he spends, over $1 million a year on his body. And that's why he's been playing for so long. And he, like, you know, he's got sponsorship and stuff with Calm, the meditation app and things like that, because it's something that, you know, he uses and that sort of thing. So it's like, you know, the more that we can instill about mindset and, you know, mindset training and things like that, the better. And that's why I love what I'm doing, because I'm going to incorporate it. And I was working with a guy the other day named Zion, who's he wants to play rugby league for the Warriors. And like, he came across my desk, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to do all this and put, you know, some effort into you to help you and get to, you know, your dream and things like that. And you know, that mindset, I think there's not as much that goes into that from my point of view, from what I've seen. Like, you know, there's the trainings and all that sort of stuff, but when it comes to the mindset and setting yourself apart, like, there's a, you know, a real potential to be doing more. And the top 2 inches is the most important thing, in my opinion.
Definitely. And what about from a coaching perspective from you, Chris?
My biggest thing would be learning, instead of turning the word losing and use it the word learning. You know, so everything's never going to be a smooth sail for you. You know, and when you are trying to hit those high levels in footy, you're probably you're really competitive and all that. So if you get too stubborn and get pissed off with learning and all that, with losing, you'll never learn. So the more you can turn losing into learning and figure out why you've done things wrong and how you learn from it to move forward, the more successful you'll become and understand and get better. So yeah, it's the biggest thing I learned in my life is I was so competitive, and you know, I was a sore loser. And once I started realizing, accepting the loss and learning from the things that went wrong in the game and things I could have done, then I started my whole view of everything started getting better and become more humble, become a better team player, a better everything. So yeah, I think just turn losing into learning.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's a really good like way to take it, because a lot of people get really like, I don't know, like down or like from the losing point of view, and they don't really know how to take it in and actually turn it around. So that there's a new catchphrase for you, Josh, instead of what is it? You got to lose a grand final to win a grand final. You can start using that one.
Like on a quote of the podcast, like for reference for you guys, like in August last year, like on a podcast, when I think it was our first one, I was like, I think Penrith going to win the title, Storm aren't. You got to lose a grand final to win one, and that became like a sort of meme of the podcast.
Yeah, and then like every week he'd just say, "I've got a new saying," and like I think it was like the week before grand final, he goes, "I heard this really good saying," and he was so serious, and he just goes, "You got to lose a grand final to win a grand final." Me and Connor were just fucking pissing ourselves.
Like I'd already said it 5 times apparently, but so watch out for Rabbitohs this year. But
yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on this podcast. It's been so interesting learning about about your Better Than Before brand and your coaching stories, Chris. This is probably one of the best chats I've had for a while. I haven't been here for a few weeks, so probably ups to that. But yeah, thanks again for joining us. You guys have been really great, and thanks for taking some time out of your day.
Maybe at some stage, what we could do is hit up a live and like just have a yarn while the game's playing or something like that, or do something a little bit differently, or
100%.
and you've just met a couple of new dudes here, and use that as an opportunity. I mean, Chris knows a lot of people, and I'm sure that there's some influential people, whether it's at grassroots level or whatever, that he'd be more than happy to have a yarn to you, or like help you boys out to get to where you want to go. And that's the thing, whatever you're passionate about, chase it, get after it, chase your dreams, because you only get one shot at it. So yeah, been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Sweet. Thanks, guys, for that. See you guys soon. Thank you.
Sounds good. Chat.
Oh.